Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday message for March 3rd of 2023. And of course, because of the storm coming in, there will not be an in-service Sunday service today. But here we are on YouTube. So this Sunday, we celebrate the third Sunday in Lent, and it's the time of taking a look at where we are in our resolve to give up the thoughts and feelings we had decided to change. What stops us from continuing on our path, having that more full relationship and connection with the one source, God, divinity, the Christ of our being? The last time I spoke, I shared with you about the number 40 and how it represents a time of completion. From that day, we had 41 days until Easter. And at that time, I invited you to fast from all unworthy thought and feast on the good and the true. Fast from criticism and condemnation, and feast on brotherly love. Fast from false beliefs and sickness and weakness, and feast on the truth of God's omnipresent, perfect life. Fast from false beliefs and of lack and limitation, and feast on the truth of God's bountiful goodwill. And that, as I mentioned, all of that came from the foreword of Charles Fillmore's book, Keep a True Lent. And it was written by Georgiana Tree West, the founder of the Unity Center of Practical Christianity in New York City. I also mentioned that at the end of their 40 days of fasting and prayer, Moses, Elijah, and Jesus all had those great mystical experiences in their lives that changed them completely. I also mentioned that as we grow spiritually, a new awareness dawns within us. We come to understand God as the one presence and one power in the universe. We begin to know ourselves as individuations of the divine, uniquely expressing God's presence and power as only we individually can. If we were to do this time of prayer, meditation, and even simple fasting, we may just experience this new awareness. And if that is what you experience at the end of this time, just that alone, how awesome would that be? But truly, the bottom line is, why do we want to grow? So in the book, The Way of Mastery, there is an entire chapter on this subject. It's chapter 32. The longing of the soul is to know love. Because love is why we're here, and we are here to know and express love itself to the world. The entire month of February was about love and loving. All month long, each of our speakers spoke about love in some way. So this month, we can take that stirring of the love that has begun inside of us and take it forward out into the world. In chapter 32 of The Way of Mastery, it starts out by stating, "We share with you that which alone can set God's child free, that which alone enlightens the mind, purifies the heart, and brings about the serenity of the soul. I have said unto you before, there is nothing you can create that does not express your longing to awaken. All things reflect to you, to the sensory apparatus of the body-mind, the longing of all creation to know with perfect certainty the living presence of that one who I have called Abba." So that statement from the book alone tells us why we want to awaken. It's the longing of all creation to know the actual living presence of God's source in us as us, and through us. It's an underlying force inside of us that is actually pushing and pulling us to grow, to awaken to the fullness of our knowing that we are the fullness of God itself on this planet. I've been sharing with you such a simple and easy technique to know you were one with God source, just to set 5 to 15 minutes each and every day as the Christ. You are the Christ. And just spending that 5 to 15 minutes every day as the Christ opens up all of your cells to its own knowingness of the truth of its being. Each and every cell in your body comes alive with the presence of the Christ of your being in it and as it. It's so simple and actually so very easy. Our deepest desire in life is to know the Christ of our being. That is what this entire time of the Lenten season is actually all about. It's about releasing everything in our cellular structure that is blocking us from knowing the fullness of the truth of ourselves, that we are the Christ, that the Christ of our being lives in us, as us, and through us every single split second of every single day. It never stops. It's closer to us than our breath itself. And as we move through each day, moving as if we were the Christ, as if we were divinity itself, the way of mastery tells us that it must come to pass that the mind is converted from fear to love and doubt into perfect faith. Faith, when purified, when matured, when totally realized, is the same as complete forgiveness, the return to peace, and the knowledge that only love is real. So as we grow and mature in our spiritual growth, we come to understand that love is the essence of all we are. Love is the actual essence of everyone and everything at its pure core. There is nothing and no one that you look upon whose core essence is anything but love. No matter how we want to judge another for what they have said or done, the fact of the matter is everyone and everything at their core is pure love. Nothing but pure love exists in truth on this planet. And yes, we see the effects of something we call not being love. Yet if we were to move that out of the way, the core of everyone and everything's being is love itself. The only question there is in actuality is this: are you willing to make the journey from fear to love as you look upon anything, anyone, or as you experience any motion? That is the question that Jesus asks us in the book, The Way of Mastery. To grow, to evolve spiritually, we must give up the judgments and condemnations and irritations that we have toward anyone or anything or any event. And there's a statement from the book: for there can be nothing that obstructs you from the light and presence of you as creator. To perceive the real world of love is to know with perfect certainty that you and your Father are one. So we are being called to remember that we have choice, that we have the choice to choose judgmental thoughts or thoughts of love. When we can remember to choose thoughts of love on a more and more consistent basis, then love is all you will see reflected back to you. One of the biggest challenges to this is when we keep remembering things from the past where we weren't very loving. When those past events come up and when we remember our unloving thoughts, you can just send love to that. to that you from the past who didn't fully understand the power of the thoughts they had going out. You can actually just close your eyes and see them standing in front of you. And in your mind's eye, see yourself going out to that you of the past, hugging yourself and letting that you know that they are love itself, that they are loved, that they are lovable, and that they are love alone. We don't judge the you from the past. We love the you from the past. And as you continue doing that, the past dissolves and more love comes into your life today. This dissolves a barrier in you, and knowing the presence and power of God in your life as you and through you. This loving yourself for everything that you've judged yourself for is the healing balm that you need for your own personal spiritual growth and enlightenment. Love is what there is, and love is the way. So today, once again, I invite you to begin or continue to sit as the Christ for 15 minutes each day. Just take in the essence of the Christ energy that is the truth of your being, and be aware of the changes in your life as you do this. Easter is 4 weeks from today, 28 days for you to make a change in your life. They say that any habit can be changed in 21 days. So this actually gives you an extra 7 days to fully lock in the changes that you want to see in your life. So over these next 4 weeks, I once again invite you just to spend that 5 to 15 minutes every day as the Christ. And maybe during your time during the day when you're doing just different things, to remember that you are divinity itself, that the Christ of you is doing this or that. The Christ of you is making your coffee. The Christ of you is doing the dishes. The Christ of you is vacuuming. The Christ of you is sitting at the computer doing something. The Christ of you is the one getting dressed, eating, observing your backyard, reading a book, brushing your teeth. It doesn't matter. Just remember that you are divinity itself, and that divinity is living in you, as you, and moving through you to do everything that you do during the day. So many blessings, everyone. Enjoy this next step of your journey to your fullest Christhood. God bless.